Today's event is one of a series of field hearings across the nation that we launched earlier this fall in order to learn about the current state of the municipal securities market, to hear from interested parties, and to gather ideas for potential improvements in this area. We held our first hearing in San Francisco and found it to be extremely helpful. We learned a lot about the topics covered at that hearing: disclosure, ratings, significant liabilities such as pensions, other post-employment benefits, and derivatives, internal controls, and the investor experience. We anticipate holding additional hearings in Florida, Texas, Alabama, and Illinois. Each field hearing will include participants from the local region and will focus on some of the issues we are examining. At those hearings, we may revisit some of today's topics and those we addressed in San Francisco, but we will also cover many others, such as investor education, conduit borrowers, offering participants, professionals and market intermediaries, sales practices, distressed communities, small issuers, 529 plans, and pricing and quotation issues. With respect to this last topic, pricing and quotation, I was very pleased to learn that this will be an area of particular focus in a study of the market and market structure that the MSRB is initiating. I imagine you'll hear a bit more about that study during the self-regulation panel this afternoon, but I wanted to make special note of it as this topic is one in which I've taken a personal interest. I'm delighted that the MSRB has decided to review these important issues as it seeks opportunities to improve the quality of the municipal securities market for the benefit of investors. At the conclusion of all the hearings, the Commission staff will prepare a report concerning what we've learned, including their recommendations for further action that we should pursue. These may include recommendations for changes in legislation, regulations, and industry practice. These hearings will be instrumental in informing those recommendations. I was very pleased that our chairman, Mary Shapiro, asked me to lead this series of hearings, as I have long had an interest in strengthening investor protection mechanisms applicable in this important market. Although I and my colleagues at the Commission have thought about municipal securities issues for a long time, I look forward to deepening and broadening my knowledge base as I learn through this learning tour, re-examining my opinions and developing new ideas, and I know that my fellow commissioners feel the same. Let me introduce you to my colleagues who either are or will be sitting with me at the table during the day. We are fortunate to be joined this morning by Chairman Shapiro. We all owe her a debt of gratitude for placing municipal securities high on the Commission's priority list and instituting the series of field hearings which she announced last spring. We are also fortunate to have nearly all the commissioners with us sometime during the day today. To my right is my fellow Commissioner Luis Aguilar, and Troy Paredes will be joining us as well later in the day. Commissioner Kathy Casey is in New York today, co-chairing the CPSS IOSCO steering group meeting, but would have loved to have been here. Next to Commissioner Aguilar is Lori Schock, the Director of the Office of Investor Education and Advocacy, and also joining us during the day today will be Robert Cook, the Director of the Division of Trading and Markets, and Jim Croker, the Commission's Chief Accountant. Not everyone at this table will be here for the full hearing, but some of my colleagues will be with me during each of the panel discussions. Our role will be to listen, learn, and engage with the panelists by asking questions. In addition to welcoming you, I remind you on behalf of myself and all other Commission participants of the Commission's standard disclaimer, that is that our remarks today represent our own views, or at least maybe our own views, and not necessarily those of the Commission, other commissioners, or members of the staff. And with that, I hope I've saved you from having to hear that repeated throughout the day. As the Chairman has noted in the past, to grapple with the complex issues presented by the municipal securities market, we need to harness the ideas of a wide range of people who have experienced this market from many different perspectives, which is exactly why we're here today. We've assembled a diverse group of panelists for each of 5 panels covering topics ranging from market stability and liquidity to the investor experience to self-regulation to accounting and finally to Build America bonds. Today's panels will be made up of state and local government officials, municipal securities investors, and academic and experienced municipal market professionals representing the broker-dealer, municipal advisor, muni analyst, institutional investor, bond insurer, and auditor perspectives. Thank you all for so generously agreeing to participate. We are sure to have interesting and informative discussions on these important topics. The moderators of today's panels are two staff members well known to most of you. Amy Starr, Senior Special Counsel for Capital Markets, Office of Chief Counsel, Division of Corporation Finance, who is on the stage right now, and Martha Haynes, Chief of the Office of Municipal Securities in the Division of Trading and Markets. My appreciation goes as well to Kayla Gillen, Chairman Shapiro's Deputy Chief of Staff, who is leading this effort for the Commission staff. My counsels, Alicia Golden and Leslie Shepard, who have been indispensable to this effort, and Rachel Herniak from Chairman Shapiro's office, who has handled the logistics for this hearing and has done a phenomenal job of keeping us all organized. I would also like to welcome and introduce our fellow regulators who are joining us today, either right now or a little bit later in the day. From the Municipal Securities Rulemaking Board, we have Alan Polsky, a member of the MSRB's board, and Lynette Hotchkiss, who will be participating in our self-regulation panel this afternoon, Hal Johnson, and Ernie Lanza. From FINRA, we will have Tom Selman, who will also be participating in the self-regulation panel, Angela Gelzer, Matt Shimkus, Mac Northam, and Cindy Friedlander. The MSRB and FINRA, as you well know, play critical roles in regulating professionals who operate in the municipal market, and their assistance has been invaluable. Also attending today's hearing are colleagues from the Government Accountability Office, Karen Tremba, Robert Pollard, Lisa Reynolds, and Stephanie Yonkman, and the GAO, as you know, has been tasked with studying various aspects of the municipal securities market under the Dodd-Frank Act. And among those participating as panelists are several highly knowledgeable federal, state, and local officials. John Cross, Associate Tax Legislative Counsel at the Department of the Treasury, Nancy Kopp, Treasurer of the State of Maryland, and Tim Firestein, Chief Administrative Officer of Montgomery County, Maryland. We have an exciting agenda for today, packed with interesting and timely topics. The format of today's field hearing will entail 5 panels covering issues relating to market stability and liquidity, the investor experience, self-regulation, accounting, and BABS. As moderators, Amy and Martha will introduce their topics and panelists. Each panelist will then make brief opening remarks. Following the open remarks, the panelists will be asked questions by the moderator and those of us at this table. We will look forward to each panel helping us to understand better the particular concerns of different market participants, highlight key areas for improvement, and provide some concrete ideas for moving forward. I hope that this will be a comfortable, candid, and enlightening discussion, and I encourage the panelists to engage in a dialogue with the rest of you, with each other, in addition to addressing our questions. A few housekeeping items before we begin. First, we'd like to ask the panelists, moderators, and other questioners to please stand your nameplate vertically when you would like to speak, and if that doesn't work, wave. Second, there will be a lunch break from 12 to 1. We would ask those of you attending in person to bear in mind the security checkpoint in our lobby and plan to budget at least 10 minutes upon your return from lunch for that process. Our last panel of the day will conclude at 5. This hearing is being webcast, and an archived version will be available on our website. Additionally, a written transcript of today's event will be made available on the Commission's website, as was the case for the San Francisco hearing. We will also post any written statements provided by the panelists. Finally, we encourage investors and all other interested parties to submit comments related to the field hearing topics and any other topics related to the municipal securities market to assist the Commission staff in determining whether to recommend changes. Comments may be submitted by using the comment forum on the SEC website or sending an email to munifieldhearings@sec.gov. Again, we're so pleased you're all here